which says, "This is Africa. I am the king of the beasts."
This lion, or the king of beasts, but its habitat, its kingdom, is shrinking. So how long can it keep its throne? So I went to Kenya to find out a little more about the current situation of the lion. The lion's one of the most loved animals in the whole world. Well, not by this guy or this guy. But I first wanted to know, what is so intriguing about this animal?
Of its ferocity, its majesty, and it's a symbol of power. It's a symbol of strength. It shows how wild, how dangerous, how strong, and also how beautiful at the end of the day a single animal is.
I think it's normal for any man to have a natural fear of this animal. I mean, after all, it can eat us. What are the biggest problems facing this animal?
All over Africa, your biggest problem is the wildlife conflict, livestock. As population's growing, land areas are getting smaller and smaller. People, they may not be able to afford the livestock, but it still means that the wild areas put aside for your cats and your predators in general are getting smaller and smaller, which means, especially in the dry season, you got more and more predators getting squeezed into that same area, so their food source is not as large, so they end up starting to kill domestic goats and sheep and cattle, and then they in turn end up getting killed themselves. I mean, it's not just they go after the one lion which got into the boma last night. They'll go and put strychnine down in the waterhole, and they'll wipe out a whole pride.
And then you have local tribes like the Maasai, who once hunted the lion, but now are protecting it.
And cats are really very, very important. We go to the Maasai settings, they used to can kill them, but these days we have really stopped hunting because of the fact that we have seen really what is attached to them.
So how many of these cats are left out there? Like the tiger, it's pretty much impossible to get an exact head count. What is known is that their populations have dropped around 50% only within the last 20 years. Some people feel that population sits at 40,000, others as low as 15,000. All experts can agree these are extremely low numbers.
It wouldn't surprise me within the next 10 or 15 years that CITES puts out a warning against your lion, simply because our populations are growing, and it comes back to, again, our population grows, there's not enough land mass, they're going to start getting pressured, prides are going to start conflicting with each other, and at the end of the day we'll end up the same as your tiger, we'll end up with no predators. As soon as you've lost your master predator, your wild herbivore population is going to increase dramatically because there's nothing to keep that in check. And then on top of that, there's going to be a lot more poaching, there's going to be a lot more meat that's required on the market, and it'll spiral from there and just go downhill all the way.
So with all this unfortunately true gloom and doom talk, what can be done? What are people doing in Africa to save this animal?
The only form of conservation we have for doing this is quite simply to form conservancies, form national reserves and parks, and just try and protect what we have left, and try not to disturb their environment, which will allow them to breed and carry on normally.
For a lot of people, a visit to their local accredited zoo or a nice accredited sanctuary like this is all they think they need to do to save a species like the lion. I also asked what they think about our program.
They are doing a good job, but it's not actually getting back to me here. It's protecting and keeping your lion numbers in captivity, but it's not helping me with my lion numbers here in the wild.
So it seems as our programs may be educational and sometimes can raise funds for them. What's really needed is support directly right to these parks.
If you see them really in their wild, you see how they behave from morning to the afternoon. It's really a very, very different thing altogether.
So how does Kenya in Eastern Africa compare itself with places that are a little more controversial, like those in South Africa, where some parks still allow hunting of this vulnerable animal?
We, unfortunately, here in East Africa will go the same way as Southern Africa, and we will end up fencing in another 15 or 20 years because of population explosion. People population explosion, that is, in agriculture.
So this is a very serious situation. Although we may not all agree on how to save the lion, we do have to agree to save the lion. Please read the description in this video to find out more information about this animal. We just can't lose this great cat.
But I personally feel at the end of the day there's nothing like driving up as a tour guide seeing a pride of lions or something and be able to go up to them and watch them, even if they're just lazing around under the bushes, or if they're moving off to hunt, or if they've actually killed and they're eating. There's just something about that power, that sheer size and that muscle, which says, this is Africa. I am the king of the beasts.